Today we are in
La France.
Le Havre. Le Havre is an industrial port in northern France, and we've never been here before, but we've heard that there's not that much to do. So we're going to head off the ship and see how we get on. But first, breakfast.
So straight up to the Inca/Maya buffet, and again, beautiful selection. Honestly, one of the sort of redeeming features of MSC is the fact that, well, I say that like there's bad things, but there isn't. The buffet is just super impressive because they've got a vast selection of just about anything and everything. And once again, it's not all located in a single area. It's spread out throughout this vast area with plenty of seating, and it's just really well done. For breakfast then, I just had a couple of hash browns and some fried eggs, because that's what I fancied.
Yeah, I had hash browns as well. What you've said that there's a huge amount of choice, which there is, but I just don't find the quality very good. Bacon, not very keen. Sausage, not very keen. Beans, not very keen. Cereal, a bit cardboardy. So, for me, there's lots of choice, but the quality of the food is not that high.
You know, I've got to agree with you, like the bacon, I wouldn't eat the bacon because it just, to me, just doesn't look very appetizing at all. I agree with you totally on the sausages. The bratwurst is okay in the morning, but the normal sausages.
So hash brown I had, and then we ordered a couple of latte macchiatos and freshly squeezed orange juice.
Yeah, so this morning then we found out that at these little bars or drink stations, well, not the drink stations, because you can get juice out of the machines yourself, but it's not the best. But you can also order freshly squeezed orange juice. Now our package included it for free, and we found that out this morning, so we had 2 glasses of freshly squeezed orange juice. Which was lovely. It was nice. Beautiful.
But other people have said that's too sweet for them.
Yeah, they have.
After breakfast, straight away we headed to grab our bag, our coats. The weather again was windy. The skies had cleared up. It was blue skies.
Lovely
It had been raining all night.
Like we mentioned in our previous video about the rain, and we went up on deck just to check the weather like we normally do before we head off ship. The decks were flooded. Honestly, it was really wet. So
grabbed our coats, bags, headed straight off the ship and into the industrial port of Le Havre. There is 2 options to get into Le Havre. One is take the MSC organised bus, which is €11 per person, or return. Or as we did, we walked, and it's about a 20-minute walk into town, all flat, so it is definitely easily done. The only thing is that it is through the industrial port, so you've got no pretty views, have you? It
took us 20 minutes to get pretty much out of the port onto the sort of main road of Le Havre, and then it took us another 30 minutes to walk into the centre of Le Havre.
When you exit the industrial port area, the first thing that we saw was a fresh fish market. Lots of stalls, locals, obviously selling the catch of the day. Really interesting just to have 2 or 3 minutes to wander around and see what's happening there.
And as it was fish,
you didn't hang around long, did you?
No, I can't stand the smell of fish. Can't stand the smell of fresh fish.
No, what a shame.
And the same in Morrison's. We walked past the monument or the sculpture of containers.
Multicoloured containers all stacked up.
Looks very pretty, so we took a few photos and then we proceeded to try and work our way to the centre of town. And what we could see in the distance was this massive church tower.
Spire type. So we thought, why not head towards that? As you've seen in lots of our other videos, we like to visit churches and see the different types of church, and this one was actually very different to any we've seen before.
It was a spectacular building.
It was St Joseph's Church, and it was a 1950s built church. So Le Havre had been pretty much flattened during World War II, and a lot of it was rebuilt in the 50s, including the church. It looks pretty much concrete from the outside.
It doesn't look very impressive at all.
But when you get inside, it's still very much concrete. But how they've done the stained glass and the windows rise up in this huge tower that are absolutely spectacular. When the sun shines through these stained glass windows, inside looks amazing, beautiful.
It literally was spectacular. A church is a church is a church, but this was just amazing because, like as Tom just said, from the outside, it just looked like a concrete tower with small little windows. But each one of those was stained glass and different colours, and literally it just reflected around the entire room. It was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, and it's free to enter, so definitely worth a visit if you're in Le Havre. We're only in there, 15 minutes, so it's not going to take up a huge part of your day, but it's definitely worth a visit.
Yeah.
From there, then we continued our walk through Le Havre and headed towards the Hotel de Ville and the big square that sits in front of it, with lots of water fountains which were soaking everybody because, again, as we said earlier, the wind was strong today, and there are a few people trying to get photos in front of these fountains and ended up so.
It's worth noting that that area is sort of the transport hub, so you can get the tram and a variety of trains as well.
Yeah, there is other things to do in Le Havre. There is a vernacular train that you can get, and there is an option to go from Le Havre into somewhere like Havre, but we just thought we'd have more time, quick walk around Le Havre and then spend the afternoon back on the ship. From the square, we then headed through the main shopping street. There's lots of shops.
Pretty much every shop brand you can think of. If you're interested in shopping, Le Havre is quite a good
Yeah,
place.
there's a few different shopping centres. I know there's Primark and things here, but we didn't fancy doing much shopping, so we didn't hang about to look in the shopping centres, and we headed off back towards the water, but we came across
The volcano.
the volcano buildings, which were quite interesting. I think one is a library and the other's a exhibition museum type space.
Quite an impressive sight, really.
Yeah.
We literally just turned around the corner and this huge white building just appeared.
Yeah, yeah.
So very interesting.
And it's set right next to the water, which we walked along the waterfront there, and then over a big white bridge.
It's quite steep, the bridge.
Yeah, it is steep. Some people tried to go on electric scooters up the
Scooters.
bridge and failed.
Yes.
So it's not easy to walk over this bridge if you have mobility issues.
No.
But it was nice to walk over it.
Nice spot for a couple of photos.
Yeah.
And a couple of videos, because it did give you quite a nice view of Le Havre Central District.
And then from there we proceeded to head back towards the port and through the industrial port and onto the ship.
Pretty straightforward, and we were back on the ship by 2 o'clock? No,
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Once we were back on the ship, we then headed to get something to eat back in the buffet once again.
So we dropped our bags off, and we're quite lucky because we're at the aft of the ship, so that elevator, that lift can take us just up to the buffet on deck 14. En route. In our usual spot at the aft of the ship, so we've got a beautiful views of Le Havre.
Much quieter now because a lot of people were off the ship and quite a few people had disembarked tonight.
Yeah, so
today even.
When we first arrived on Preziosa, I think this week we had 3,600 passengers. So there are around now 2,700 passengers on board Preziosa.
Yeah.
The venues are starting to get quiet.
Yeah, we'll see what it's like this evening, but it is getting quieter, isn't it?
In the buffet, we decided to have a lovely little mixture of different treats. We tried some of the pastas. We tried one of the pretzels that they do. So they do these absolutely huge, massive pretzels for lunch.
Yeah.
We had a chicken burger, which was a bit horrible.
We were hoping for a chicken breast with salad, and it wasn't.
It was this grey patty.
Yeah, very grey.
Very grey.
Yeah, not great.
No.
A little bit of snack for lunch, but we know we're going to have a lovely dinner. We then headed
back to our room.
Because
it is our last full day on board Preziosa. Unfortunately, tomorrow we are disembarking, and that'll be the end of this cruise.
Yeah.
So we thought, right, let's sort our stuff out and start packing.
Then we headed to the Venetian Plaza for a glass of wine, didn't we? We had to sit down there for an hour for a glass of wine, which was interesting, really nice.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. And there, the ceiling is like lit up and painted, and there's
little
stars
and
things. It's a lovely little place to sit, although there's no windows there, but you are surrounded by some of the shops, and you can get pieces of cake and
sandwiches,
coffees,
ice
wine.
creams, milkshake.
Yeah, it was great. We have been really lucky, haven't we?
We are.
We've been asked to go to Yacht Club and we went and spent a few hours in Yacht Club.
And just having a look around, experiencing what Yacht Club is all about. We got the opportunity to have a look in one of the cabins.
Yes.
And we'll be putting together a review and ship tour, and we'll include that information as well, just to give you a full rounded view of what it's actually like.
We then headed
Back to our room.
Okay, so after our nap in the room, we then headed for dinner.
So down to the Golden Lobster on deck 5 for 7 o'clock. As the whole week has progressed and gone on, absolutely no problems at all. Straight to our table, sat down, and they ordered some food. Really, really good service.
Yeah, so I didn't fancy any of the starters on the menu tonight, so I chose to just have always available pasta, which was really nice again. Pasta with béarnaise sauce, beautiful.
And I actually opted for the lentil soup. I think after a week of excessive eating and drinking, I just needed some type of vitamins. And to be fair, it was absolutely lovely. I had it with a beautiful brown seeded roll, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, and for main, I then had the beef fillet. It was okay. It wasn't bad. The carrots and the veg was quite nice. It was in a glazed sauce. The beef was a little bit fatty, but it was quite nice. It was just okay.
It looked lovely. For my main, I opted to have the chicken parmesan, and it was really, really nice. It was a little bit, I wouldn't say cold, but it wasn't hot, but the vegetables were beautiful, and I really enjoyed it.
And then in the middle of the table, we had an
Indonesian beef.
special, beef, which you really liked.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I even said to our waiters that should be on the always available menu, because it was absolutely beautiful.
And it came with jasmine rice.
Yes.
So lovely.
And again, it was absolutely perfect.
And then for dessert, I had the chocolate cake.
And I had the berry fruit cobbler with a spoon of ice cream, and it was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet though. The cobbler, the crumble on the top, was
was
very, very sweet, but it was delicious.
Yeah. Vanilla ice cream every time. I don't think we have any choice with vanilla ice cream. We just get it.
Get it.
After dinner then, usual routine, we headed to the theatre, and tonight's show was French theme. Quite unusual choice, because probably 99% of French-speaking guests disembarked today. So mostly the people left on board now are either people who embarked in Southampton or Hamburg, German or English speaking, so they chose French show.
It was a little bit different. There was no story or plot. It was like a variety performance with lots of different songs with a French theme.
We had like a Moulin Rouge high kicking routine towards the end of the show,
which was quite impressive really. The dancers did work incredibly hard.
Quite impressive, quite old fashioned.
The performances in the middle though?
Yeah, the entertainment has been up and down, as we've said, throughout this cruise, and on our last night it's still the same.
Yeah. After the show in the Princess Theatre, we made our way quickly to Safari Lounge to find nobody in there.
No, it was very quiet now. As we've been going through the week, the numbers have been getting less and less. For each port we disembark guests now, so much less people in Safari Lounge. And as usual, there was a dance lesson. I took part in the dance lesson tonight, but there were much fewer people on the dance floor because they'd gone home.
Yeah, as I said, the numbers are very, very low. The dance lesson is usually incredibly popular, with the whole dance floor in the Safari Lounge being absolutely full. But tonight it was very, very sparse, but you enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it. It was good. It was good. After the dance lesson, we then dashed back to the theatre for the crew talent show.
The talent show was presented by the entertainment team on board MSC Preziosa.
Yeah.
And the acts were all members of the crew. We've seen this on other cruises that we've been to, and we've always really, really enjoyed it. Tonight there was a variety of different performances, from cleaners, housekeepers, even the fire team on board. And it was absolutely spectacular. They really, really did well, didn't they?
Majority singers, to be honest with you, but all of them very talented. We had a dancer from Brazil who was the dance instructor, and we had a group of Samoans who did some traditional Samoan dancing. So all very entertaining and probably better than the actual show.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Tom there. It was such a good performance. and the Samoan
Guys who performed brilliant.
phenomenal. After the theatre production, the talent show, we made our way back to Safari Lounge just to see if it had sort of perked up a little bit.
Yeah, and it hadn't.
No,
It was very quiet. It was even quieter than before. So we didn't hang around for long, did we?
No.
What we thought was we'd then go and have a wander through the ship to see what the rest of the ship was like. Again, very similar. The lounges and the bars were much quieter than they had been at the start of the week. So we had a couple of pounds to use, so we decided to head to the casino.
The casino, they won't cash out cents. They'll only cash out full euros on non-port days. Pretty much over the course of the week, we picked up the odd euro, the odd cent. So we thought we'd use those in the casino.
Yeah, and we haven't done too bad. We've ended up, haven't we, at the end of our cruise? Win-win.
Yeah, so all in all, I think we're around about $160 up.
Yeah.
Tom's really annoyed with me right now because because we could have been around about 220 up, but I just couldn't stop. When you're up, leave. Just finish.
Leave.
House always wins.
Come give it up. You thought you were going to be the winner.
I did think I was going to be the winner.
But you should have took that $100 when you were up. So.
Never mind.
Dollars,
Live and learn.
euros, but who?
Live and learn.
Well, we're still up.
Yeah, all in all, pretty good cruise for the casino. And the fact we only sort of bet low, we never bet high, because your money just sort of disintegrates.
However, while we're in the casino tonight, last night of our cruise, we've seen 2 people who have been given free cruises tonight. I dread to think how much they've actually spent, because you need
thousands
to have spent a hell of a lot of money really to get a free cruise. But well done, you've got your free cruises. So
no flights, no drinks package, but you know, enjoy your cruise.
Someone offered it to me.
But
me too. There's no way we'd spend that amount of money.
No way.
The casino was rammed tonight.
So busy. It was the busiest we've seen it.
People definitely were taking advantage of the last night of their cruise.
So obviously this is our last night. We've had to put our cases out before 1 a.m. so they can be collected, so that we can pick them up after we disembark tomorrow. So we're back in the room now, and we're just going to finish off a little bit of packing, go to bed, and then tomorrow it's all over.
You have to leave your room by 8:30 in the morning, so we better get to sleep.
One interesting thing to note is everybody on board needs to have a face-to-face visit with UK Customs.
Yeah, one of the things MSC said, and we have seen tonight that there are barriers up that are spread throughout the ship, so we are dreading really the queues that are going to happen tomorrow, so we shall wait and see. Well, we're back home after a long journey back from Southampton.
Disembarkation this morning wasn't as straightforward as we first thought.
No, we had some new rules introduced that we'd never experienced on any other cruise ship, so it was really interesting to see how those went.
We left the cabin around about 8 o'clock, 30 minutes earlier than we were allowed to vacate, and instead of going straight to breakfast, we thought we'd have the ingenious idea of going downstairs and having our face-to-face meeting with UK Customs.
Yes, so we'd had information to tell us that we'd need to show our passports to immigration the morning of disembarkation. So we headed down to the main atrium thinking that we would be able to show our passport straight away to customs in the Butcher's Cut area. What we actually found was there was a huge queue that snagged around the whole ship. We ended up joining the queue right back in the Safari Lounge.
So MSC Preziosa had pretty much blockaded most parts of the ship off. You couldn't access the mid or centre lifts.
Although the queue was long and it did snake around pretty much the whole length of the ship, it was continuously moving, and it probably took us about half an hour to get all the way round.
It was just a case of them checking our passports, looking at us, giving us a little sticker, and then telling us to go on our way.
From there, we then headed back up to the buffet at the top of the ship, where we enjoyed our last breakfast.
Once again, a vast selection of food available. It was incredibly busy, as you can imagine, on disembarkation day. We managed to get a lovely little seat just by the window, and we just sat there, ate our breakfast, and waited for our disembarkation.
Disembarkation was really easy. We got off the ship very, very quickly with no problems at all.
Overall, we've had a fantastic week on MSC Preziosa, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, although there is some differences with cruising with MSC, I think we would definitely cruise with them again.
Thanks for watching our final day on board MSC Preziosa and our disembarkation. If you've got any comments or questions, just pop them in the box below and we'll get back to you.
And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also hit that bell notification button to never miss a video from us.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. We've got lots more content available on our YouTube channel, so press that subscribe button. If you're interested in receiving daily updates, we're available on most social media platforms. Just search for Tom and Dom Travel.